Hello and welcome to Everyday English Hub. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Mark. Today, we're diving into a topic that often causes a bit of confusion for English learners, but it's absolutely essential for sounding natural and understanding everyday conversations. We're talking about phrasal verbs.
That's right, Mark. Phrasal verbs. They can seem a little mysterious at first, but once you understand how they work, they unlock a whole new level of English comprehension and fluency. So, Mark, let's start with the basics. What exactly is a phrasal verb?
Well, at its simplest, a phrasal verb is a verb combined with a preposition or an adverb, or sometimes both. This combination creates a new word with a meaning that is often quite different from the original verb.
Could you give us an example to illustrate that?
Certainly. Let's take the verb look. On its own, look means to direct your eyes towards something. But when we add a preposition or adverb, it can change its meaning entirely. For example, look up.
Look up. What does that mean?
Look up can mean a few things. It can mean to search for information, usually in a book or online. So if you don't know the meaning of a word, you might look it up in a dictionary.
Ah, I see. So, look plus up creates a new meaning related to searching for information.
Exactly. Another meaning of look up is to improve. For instance, things are finally looking up for the company. This means the company's situation is improving.
That's a great example. So, the same phrasal verb can have multiple meanings.
It can indeed. And that's one of the things that can make them tricky. But that's also what makes them so rich and versatile in the English language. Let's consider another common phrasal verb. How about give up? Give up. On its own, give means to transfer possession of something. But give up usually means to stop trying or to surrender. For example, don't give up on your dreams.
So, the original meaning of give is completely lost in give up.
In many cases, yes. The meaning is idiomatic, meaning you really need to learn the meaning of the phrasal verb as a whole unit, rather than trying to deduce it from the individual words.
And this is a common point of confusion for learners, isn't it? They might try to translate the preposition or adverb literally.
Absolutely. If you try to translate give up literally, it doesn't make much sense. It's the combination that matters. Let's look at another one. Turn on. Turn on. This is a very common one. It means to start a machine or a light. For example, can you turn on the television or please turn on the lamp?
And the opposite would be turn off.
Precisely. Turn off means to stop a machine or a light. Turn off the radio, please.
So, turn on and turn off are opposites, and they are both phrasal verbs.
That's right. And this highlights another important aspect. Many phrasal verbs have antonyms that are also phrasal verbs.
Let's explore the structure a little more. We have the verb and then the particle, which is either a preposition or an adverb. Can you explain the difference between a preposition and an adverb in this context?
That can be a bit technical, but for practical purposes, when learning phrasal verbs, the distinction isn't always crucial. What's more important is recognizing that the particle modifies the verb. However, to briefly explain, A preposition usually relates a noun or pronoun to another word in the sentence, often indicating location or direction. An adverb typically modifies a verb, adjective, or another adverb, often indicating manner, time, or place.
So in look up could be considered an adverb of direction, but in look for is a preposition.
Exactly. And this leads to another important characteristic, transitivity. Some phrasal verbs are transitive, meaning they require a direct object. Others are intransitive, meaning they don't.
Can you explain that with examples?
Certainly. Turn on the television. Here, the television is the direct object. You are turning something on. So, turn on is a transitive phrasal verb in this case.
And an intransitive example?
An intransitive example would be wake up. You can say, I wake up at 7 a.m. There's no object receiving the action of waking up. You are simply performing the action of waking up.
So you can't say, I wake up the clock.
Unfortunately not. That sounds quite strange.
And what about the position of the object in transitive phrasal verbs? I remember hearing that sometimes the object can go in different places.
That's a very important point, Sarah, and it relates to separability. Some transitive phrasal verbs are separable, meaning the object can come between the verb and the particle, or after the particle. For example, with turn on the television, you can also say, turn the television on.
Ah, that's where the confusion often arises.
It is. So for turn on the television, both turn on the television and turn the television on are correct.
What if the object is a pronoun?
That's a key rule. If the object is a pronoun, like it, him, her, them, us, it must go between the verb and the particle in separable phrasal verbs. So you would say, turn it on, not turn on it.
That's a crucial rule to remember. Turn it on.
Exactly. Turn him up, give her back, put them down. The pronoun always goes in the middle.
So, to recap, we have phrasal verbs, which are verb plus particle. They have idiomatic meanings, can be transitive or intransitive, and if they are transitive and separable, the object can go in different places, but pronouns always go in the middle.
That's a very good summary. Now, what about inseparable phrasal verbs? Inseparable phrasal verbs are also transitive, but the object must follow the particle. You cannot put the object between the verb and the particle. For example, look after.
Look after. What does that mean?
Look after means to take care of someone or something. So you would say, I look after my younger sister. Or, the nurse looks after the patients.
And you cannot say, I look my younger sister after.
No, that would be incorrect. The object, my younger sister, must come after the particle after. So, look after my younger sister is correct, but look my younger sister after is not.
So, with inseparable phrasal verbs, the object always comes at the end.
Yes, that's the rule for inseparable ones.
It seems like there are a lot of rules to remember. Is there a way to know if a phrasal verb is separable or inseparable?
Unfortunately, there isn't a simple universal rule. You generally have to learn them as you encounter them. Dictionaries are very helpful here, as they will often indicate if a phrasal verb is separable and where the object can be placed.
So, consistent practice and exposure to English are key.
Absolutely. The more you read, listen, and speak English, the more familiar you'll become with these structures. You'll start to develop an intuition for them.
Let's try a few more examples. How about put off?
Put off is a good one. It often means to postpone something. For example, we had to put off the meeting until next week.
And is that separable or inseparable?
Put off is typically separable, so you could also say, we had to put the meeting off until next week.
And if the object was a pronoun, like it,
You would say, we had to put it off. The pronoun it goes in the middle.
excellent. Now, another common one, bring up.
Bring up. This can have a couple of meanings. One common meaning is to raise a child. For example, she was brought up in the countryside.
And this one is also separable.
Yes, it is. So you could say, they brought up their children to be kind. Or, they brought their children up to be kind.
And with a pronoun?
They brought them up to be kind. The pronoun them goes in the middle.
Now, bring up also has another meaning, doesn't it?
It does. It can also mean to mention or introduce a topic in conversation. For example, please don't bring up that sensitive subject at the party.
And this meaning is also separable.
Yes, it is. Please don't bring that sensitive subject up at the party. Or, please don't bring it up at the party.
So, context is really important for understanding the meaning of a phrasal verb as well as its grammatical behavior.
Precisely. The surrounding words and the overall situation will help you decipher which meaning is intended and how the phrasal verb is functioning. Let's consider get over. Get over. This usually means to recover from an illness or a disappointment. For example, it took him a long time to get over the flu.
And is that separable or inseparable?
Get over is inseparable. So you would say, it took him a long time to get over the flu. You cannot say, it took him a long time to get the flu over.
And with a pronoun?
You would say, it took him a long time to get over it. The pronoun it follows the particle.
This is really helpful. It's starting to make more sense. It's like learning new vocabulary, but with a verb and a little extra word attached.
That's a great way to think about it. And remember, there are thousands of phrasal verbs in English. You'll never learn them all, but the more you focus on understanding the common ones, the more fluent you'll become.
Are there any tips for learners to help them remember phrasal verbs?
One good tip is to try and learn them in context. Instead of just memorizing a list, try to find sentences where the phrasal verb is used naturally. Writing your own sentences is also very effective.
And grouping them? Perhaps by verb or by particle.
That can be helpful too. For example, you could learn all the common phrasal verbs with get, like get up, get on, get off, get over, get along with. Or you could focus on phrasal verbs with up, like look up, give up, wake up, put up.
That seems like a manageable approach.
It is. And don't be afraid to make mistakes. Learners will often use phrasal verbs incorrectly, and that's perfectly normal. The important thing is to keep practicing and learning from those mistakes.
So, to summarize, phrasal verbs are verb plus particle combinations that create new meanings. They can be tricky because their meanings are often idiomatic and they have different grammatical behaviors regarding transitivity and separability. And the key to mastering them is consistent exposure, practice, and a willingness to learn them as individual units of meaning.
Exactly. Phrasal verbs are a vital part of spoken and informal written English, so investing time in understanding them will pay off significantly in your language learning journey.
Well, that brings us to the end of this segment on phrasal verbs. We hope we've demystified them a little for you. Join us next time on Everyday English Hub, where we'll be exploring another fascinating aspect of the English language. Until then, keep practicing.